What if I told you an earthquake could literally tear Earth apart? Not crack cities, not destroy countries, rip the entire planet into pieces. Sounds impossible, because it is almost. But hidden inside that almost is a terrifying loophole. And that loophole starts with a bed. A real earthquake-proof bed designed to detect seismic waves and drop you into a steel survival chamber before buildings collapse. It looks ridiculous, like something from a sci-fi nightmare. But here's the strange part. Compared to what's coming, that bed is useless. Because today, we're triggering the most powerful earthquake imaginable. A magnitude 20. And no, humanity has never seen anything close to it. The strongest earthquake ever recorded hit Chile in 1960. Magnitude 9.5. Entire cities collapsed. Tsunamis crossed oceans. Thousands died. But that's not even the craziest part. A magnitude 20 isn't just twice as strong. Earthquakes don't scale normally. They scale logarithmically, which means every single number increase releases over 30 times more energy than the previous one. A magnitude 3 releases 30 times more energy than a magnitude 2. A magnitude 4 releases nearly 1,000 times more energy than a magnitude 2. So now imagine jumping from 9.5 to 20. The numbers stop making sense. And this is where it gets weird. To create an earthquake that massive, Earth itself becomes the problem. Most earthquakes happen because tectonic plates grind against each other. Pressure builds silently for decades, sometimes centuries, until friction loses the fight. Then the crust snaps. That snap becomes a shockwave powerful enough to flatten cities. But for a magnitude 20, the fault line would need to be longer than Earth itself. Literally. Scientists estimate a magnitude 10.5 would require a rupture zone around 80,000 kilometers long. Earth's circumference is only 40,000 kilometers. So a magnitude 20 should be impossible. Game over. Mystery solved. Except there's one horrifying exception. And that exception is heading toward us from space. An asteroid. Not the dinosaur killer kind. Something far worse. Big enough to hit Earth with so much force that the entire planet violently shakes like a cracked bell. And the moment it strikes, everything changes. The ground wouldn't shake for seconds. It would shake for minutes. 5 full minutes of non-stop global seismic chaos. Imagine standing still while the planet moves beneath your feet like liquid. Buildings collapse instantly. Bridges twist apart. Entire coastlines disappear under tsunamis taller than skyscrapers. But here's the terrifying part. The earthquake itself wouldn't be the main disaster. It would trigger everything else. Volcanoes erupting across the planet. Fault lines snapping one after another like dominoes. Cities swallowed by collapsing ground. And shockwaves racing through Earth's core itself. Human civilization wouldn't collapse slowly. It would collapse all at once. And this is where the story flips completely. At first, scientists believed no earthquake could ever destroy Earth entirely. But then they looked at something called gravitational binding energy. That's the invisible force holding our planet together. Every mountain, every ocean, every human being, held in place by gravity fighting against total destruction. To destroy Earth, an event must release enough energy to overcome that force. And unbelievably, a magnitude 20 earthquake could actually do it. Not damage Earth, not scar Earth, destroy it. The crust would fracture beyond repair. Massive chunks of the planet could break apart into space. Oceans vaporize. The atmosphere tears away. Earth stops being a world and becomes debris orbiting the sun. But that's not even the craziest part. Humanity might see it coming. Because an asteroid large enough to trigger this apocalypse wouldn't arrive silently. Astronomers could detect it years in advance. Which raises an even darker question. If we knew Earth was doomed, what would we do next? Would governments tell the truth? Or hide it to stop global panic? Would billionaires secretly build escape missions while the rest of humanity waits to die? And if we had enough warning, could we actually leave Earth? At first, the answer sounds simple. Build rockets. Escape the blast. Start over somewhere else. But space doesn't forgive mistakes. To evacuate even a tiny fraction of humanity, we'd need thousands of launches. Massive space habitats. Food systems. Artificial gravity. And we'd need it all before the asteroid arrives. What happens next changes everything. Because the real enemy might not be the impact. It might be time. Society could collapse long before the asteroid even hits. Markets crash. Governments fail. Wars erupt over resources, bunkers, and launch seats. The countdown itself becomes the apocalypse. And somewhere in the middle of that chaos, people would still look up at the sky every night, watching that object grow larger, knowing Earth's final day has already been decided. But here's the strange part. Even if humanity escaped, Earth would still die alone. The oceans that created life, the forests, the cities, every memory of human history erased in one impossible moment. And then comes the final shock. A magnitude 20 earthquake doesn't just challenge physics. It challenges perspective. Because for all our technology, power, and ambition, one object from deep space could reduce civilization to dust in minutes. And maybe that's the most terrifying part of all. Not that Earth could be destroyed, but that the universe has always had the power to do it. Quietly, patiently, waiting. So now the real question is, if scientists discovered that asteroid tomorrow, would humanity unite to survive? Or destroy itself before the impact ever came?